Welcome to Effingham Talks, the podcast that celebrates the people, organizations, and ideas making a positive impact across our community. Each episode shines a spotlight on local leaders, innovative businesses, dedicated nonprofits, and inspiring individuals who help make Effingham a better place to live, work, and grow. Effingham Talks is proudly presented by Effingham Premier Productions. Now, let's join today's conversation. And here is your host, Tommy Morgan.
Welcome back to Effingham Talks, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're highlighting an organization that's proving every single day that ability is far more important than disability. EmployAbility has spent 75 years helping individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities build meaningful careers, gain independence, and become valued members of our workforce. They're also expanding their presence here in Effingham County and recently announced a community event, a very sweet event, I might add, an ice cream social here at Moncrief Square on July 25th. They're also going to bring their one-of-a-kind flavor created just for their anniversary. Joining us today is Brendan Ferrara from EmployAbility. Brandon, welcome to Effingham Talks.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it, Tom.
Absolutely. So let's start out with what is EmployAbility? For people who may be hearing about EmployAbility for the very first time, what is your mission?
So our mission is to integrate people with intellectual and developmental disabilities into the community and empower them to have as meaningful and as independent life as they possibly can.
This year marks an incredible milestone, 75
Certainly.
Years.
Yeah.
Tell us how EmployAbility has evolved over the years.
So, gosh, it is truly amazing to be a part of an organization that's been around for 75 years. And the evolution is pretty lengthy. So I'll try to make it as abbreviated as possible. But I'm just so proud of the organization and what we've been able to accomplish over the years. So we were started in 1951 by a woman named Lilla Mae Kicklighter. Their family grew up in the Mayfair neighborhood in Savannah, and they had a son named Bobby who had some intellectual disabilities. And when the school bus came to pick up all of his friends that he'd been playing with his whole life at the age of 6, didn't pick him up.
Oh, wow.
And there's a great article in the Savannah Morning News that we've got that the title of it is "Mommy, Why Can't I Get on the Bus?" Which, of course, every time I tell the story, I've told it a million times, always brings tears to my eyes.
Absolutely.
Because it's just so disheartening to think that there was a day and time when not only did the public school system not have the capability to take somebody, but they truly wouldn't accept him. And we're talking decades ahead of the ADA and everything else. Well, obviously, that was not good enough for Lilla Mae. Evidently, she was a bit of a spitfire. She says, "I'll do it myself." So she gathered together, got a group of families together, and in a one-room space near Forsyth Park, they started our organization. And a little-known fact that a lot of people aren't aware of, that if you fast forward, so we started working with people, and it was your basic academic life training skills, things like that. Well, by the time you get to the late 1960s, Bobby's in his mid-20s, and they had grown and picked up other kids along the way. And so you've got children, and then you've got adults. And they quickly began to realize that even though these are people that do have some intellectual challenges, they are adults. They have the same thoughts and feelings and emotions and want the same types of relationships that we all have. And that's just a very different skill set to work with than the children. And so we split into two organizations, and this is where I think a lot of people don't know. The Kicklighter Academy, which physically is located geographically right behind us, is kind of our sister organization. We did split into two entities. They're a nonprofit, we're a nonprofit, but they started focusing specifically on children. And we continued forward working with adults. And at that time, aside from working with people on some independent living skills, you started to see what were called sheltered workshops pop up across the country. And the idea of a sheltered workshop is that you're going to start a business that is operated exclusively with workers that have intellectual or physical challenges. If you think about it again, you're talking late 60s, early 1970s. Very few, if any, business owners are going to take the leap forward and believe that anybody with a disability could be productive, or that the challenges that and the barriers to entry would be so significant that it would be economically feasible. So you have these organizations like ours that pop up with sheltered workshops, kind of a proof of concept, if you will. And so the first business that we started, and it was in the space that we're in now, was a fulfillment center where we're stuffing envelopes and packing boxes and things like that. Well, through the 70s, that just takes off and does really, really well. And that evolves into a project that we worked on with Gulfstream on electrical housing units and thermocouple wires, which are as complicated as they sound.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was crazy. You know, we were still doing that when I came on board, and to watch people put those products together off of the engineering drawings and things, it was really, really cool. And that evolved over time into a catering business and a cleaning business where we would go out and clean office buildings and things like that. We had a print shop. To a lot of people in Savannah, we're still the napkin place where we would do heat stamping of napkins. And by the end, we had these 5 social enterprise businesses. And then you get to the late 1990s, and that's when state organizations like Georgia Voc Rehab and the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities begin to really put some effort into getting employers to employ people. And so we jumped on that wagon in the mid 90s. By the time I came on board with the organization, all those businesses are really doing gangbuster volume. Wow. And we've got over 200 people that are employed mostly in the Savannah, Chatham area, a little bit in Effingham, a little bit in Bryan and Liberty counties, but mostly in Chatham County. And so that's where we were, kind of probably mid 2000s. We shifted that model when I came on board. We started looking at the board, started looking at everything, and we determined that the whole point of those sheltered workshops was to prove concept.
Yeah.
Well, if we've got 200 people that are employed in the community, we've proved concept. And
exactly.
I gotta tell you,
absolutely.
Yeah. And when I came on, I came on in a role that was overseeing all the businesses. I wasn't in the role I'm in today. And what I began to realize, I had another career at Savannah Tech. And one of the challenges I had at the college was I had more employers interested in hiring our folks, looking for students than I had students, which is a good problem to have. That's why Savannah Tech's placement rates are so good. I had the same problem over here. And I got to tell you, when I came over, I thought, okay, well, here's a new challenge. I'm gonna really have to convince employers to hire. No, it didn't at all. All the employers I had, especially the hospitality and logistics industries, were all excited about me coming over, and they're like, okay, let me know when you've got some people. And when I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't really have anybody, because we were employing folks,
right?
And they loved the jobs, and they were doing great at the jobs. And there is certainly some significant value to that, but that's not really what the mission is. The mission was to get people in the community, integrated in the community. And so we started to come up with a plan to kind of move out of those businesses and focus specifically on training people and getting people employed. And we did that over the pandemic. You know, like a lot of other businesses, from a financial perspective, it was really the move that we needed to make, but also from the mission perspective, it's really, really the direction that we needed to go in. And so that's kind of where we're at now. And so we have 2 sides of our services. One of them is that employment side, a little bit of our namesake, where we work with kids from the age of 14 on up, on training, helping them identify industries that they're interested in, that match their skill sets, getting them the skills, and then connecting with the employers, and then supporting them for the lifetime of the job. And then we have the other side, which is the enrichment services, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later, but that's kind of the new thing that we're bringing to Springfield and into Effingham County, and that's our day services program. That is an opportunity for people who either are working and are maybe not working full time and are looking for some opportunities to get some more social engagement in the community.
Sure.
Or maybe they are working full time, but nights and weekends and things, they don't have a lot of opportunities for those to kind of get engaged. And then there's those folks that maybe their challenges are too significant, that either A, they're not interested in getting a job, or maybe it's just not something that is in the cards for them.
Yeah.
That provides them an opportunity to come to one of our spaces, and then we go out in the community and we do things like, on a very basic level, it could be arts and crafts. It could be someone coming in and doing some daily exercises with people, helping people understand how to be a little healthier.
Yeah.
We have great programs with the University of Georgia where they come in and they talk about healthy eating habits. Our staff will work with people on other independent living skills, like how to do laundry and clean house and that kind of stuff. And then what I really love is we partner with a lot of other nonprofits. And that's what we're looking for now. So would love any nonprofits in this area, please reach out to us as we come into the community. The participants that we work with oftentimes are people that have people helping them the vast majority of their life, whether it's doctors or caretakers, or some of our direct service providers. Someone's always there helping them out. We provide them opportunities to go and help other people. So we partner with Union Mission or Emmaus House, packing lunches or helping sort the clothing, or we partner with church groups and help clean, sanctuaries and things like that. We'll partner with anybody.
I've got the perfect group for you.
Awesome.
Our nonprofit network, 10.
Oh, yes. I've heard of that.
We currently have 22 nonprofits out of the 55 in the county.
Okay.
We'd love for you guys to be a part of it. I'm sure they would be excited to have you there and see what the folks from EmployAbility could do to help them out.
Al, thank you very much. I would love to do that. We'll get together and I'll come out to that. Yeah, but those partnerships are so great because, again, obviously you're helping other nonprofits. But again, for our participants, at the end of the day, one of my favorite things to do is when they've gone to work with Union Mission and they come back and you just see their face light up, because it's such a meaningful experience for them.
It's rewarding.
It is. Yeah, it is. So that's kind of where we're at today, is that we've got those two services. And again, you've got the enrichment services, where we'll do social activities. We also do athletic programs, and we're trying to expand that a bit. We do pickleball and tennis clinics with a group out of the Landings called Special Pops. We had partnered with Tormenta FC, the soccer club out of Statesboro. Unfortunately, they're not around anymore. So we're looking for other partnerships to kind of do some of the same types of things.
I'm sure we can help you out with that up here.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
So what other services do you provide other than helping someone find a job?
Yep. So it's the training side of things. So we talked about those enrichment services, but then, like I said, there's that training piece, and that starts at the age of 14. And we've already been partnering for a couple of years with Effingham County High School. And what we do is we go in and we provide a training program called Pre-ETS, or Pre-Employment Transition Service. And I won't bore everybody, but there's 5 subject areas kind of revolving around helping people identify what skills do you have, what skills do we need to brush up on, what are your interests, and along with that, we always tag in there what are the practical challenges that you may have, like transportation. So helping identify those things, and then helping people build a resume, develop those skills. And then all that hopefully again leads to connecting them with an employer.
So when someone joins EmployAbility, what does the journey typically look like from the time they join until they go into their career?
Oh, I'd love to say that there is kind of a straight path, but unfortunately there is not, because the vast majority of what we do is Medicaid funded. Some of it is state funded through, as I mentioned, Georgia Voc Rehab.
Yeah.
And then we also do have a self-pay model that we started about 5 or 6 years ago, in part because the government bureaucracy is a bit of a challenge to navigate. But we're here to help everybody do that. One of the things that I think employability is very blessed with is that 75 years of history.
Yeah.
We've been around and we've got employees. I love telling people this. Our longest serving employee has been with us for 56 years.
Wow.
He came to us in 1970. Mr. Willie retired in 2020 and came back, and he still drives for us. And obviously that is the absurd anomaly. But in general, we've got somewhere around single digit 10, 11% turnover annually. We're really proud of the fact that we've got some really dedicated staff.
Yeah.
And so along with that comes a huge depth of knowledge and a huge Rolodex. We know everybody. And if we don't know everybody, somebody we know knows somebody. And that's a message that I would love to tell to everybody, whether someone chooses employability or we are a resource for the community. Again, we're a nonprofit. We don't have shareholders. We don't have ownership. So I don't mind working with people, even if you're not going to choose us. I think we're great. Yeah. But I really and strongly encourage people to look at all of the providers out there. But we're more than happy that if you don't know where to start, call us up.
Yeah.
We're happy to sit down and kind of point you in the right directions and even knock on some doors and break down some doors for you if necessary, because again, the bureaucracy can be a little overwhelming for people. But that's kind of how it starts. The start is just give us a call, make an appointment with us, or maybe even over the phone, or, you know, we can even do it via video, and we can begin to talk about what diagnosis does your family member have, or do you have? We actually do have participants that come and find us. And then let's start talking about what you're looking for. Are you looking to get a job? And so let's connect you. The first step typically for that is to go through Georgia Voc Rehab or GVRA. If you're looking for more of the enrichment service, day services thing, then that's going to start with Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disability, or DBHDD, and then begin to get the ball rolling on those things. And I can't, speaking specifically to the parents, I can't say it strong enough. You have to start this process at 14, 15, 16 years old. Even if your kid is not going to be on a graduation path that maybe they'll age out at 22. As my amazing predecessor, Dr. Boyd, would always tell parents, the bus is going to stop coming at 22.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what you're going to do after that. And it can't just be parking somebody on a couch. Let's get them off the couch. Let's get them out. And once they get on that couch, it's just really hard to get them off.
Absolutely. For anybody.
For anybody. Oh, yeah. You're 100% right.
You go home and sit on that couch for 3 months, you're not going to want to get off of it.
Or just Saturday morning, as it was for me. It's so hot outside. You're like, do I really want to get up? But so the idea is, you know, start looking now, because the process can be lengthy.
Yeah.
The employment process is a bit quicker, I'll be honest. GVRA, and I'm not no banging on GVRA versus DBHD. They're both wonderful organizations. Their process is just a little bit more streamlined. Mm-hmm. It's not as cumbersome. It's mostly more state dollars and that kind of stuff. There are some Fed dollars that pass through, but with DBHDD and the day services, you're talking about Medicaid. And Medicaid is just a beast to deal with. And so it could be months, it could be years that you're on the planning list that they have for the state.
And you just don't know.
And you just don't know, because the planning list is created. Last I heard, there were about 10,000 people that were on it. Wow. And it is need-based. And that's the other thing that I really would like to emphasize to people is all of this funding is need-based. It has nothing to do with economics. It has everything to do with the diagnosis that the person has. And it's a misnomer that a lot of people have. My kid's pediatrician came to me about 4 or 5 years ago and had said, "Hey, Brendan, you told me a little bit about what you do, but let me tell you about my son. Let me tell you about the situation we're in. And is this something you can help with?"
Yeah.
And as I started talking through it, in his mind, he thought, I'm a doctor. We've lived a pretty decent life, and he was just going to pay for everything. And I'm like, you can if you want to. We have that model, but there is funding for this because it's all based off of his diagnosis and his needs.
Right.
So everybody needs to understand that this is open to everyone. But you get in and we get you kind of situated with both of those. We've got case managers that can, like I said, can help if you run into roadblocks. We'll give you some strategies on how to fill everything out.
Wow.
I mean, I hate to say it, but what we tell people is you have to document your child on their worst day. And that's something that as a parent, you never want to do. You want to present your child in the most glowing, because we all love our kids. Yeah. And we're proud of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when it comes to getting funding for services, you really truly have to look at this as what is the most significant challenge that we have. Yeah. Because again, that it's a list of 10,000 people that's all need-based, and you could be number 455 today. Tomorrow you could be number 600 because so many people with more significant needs jumped in. So that's kind of the start, is that we have that conversation, get you set up with where you're going to go, and then see where the chips lay, that both agencies are going to come back and say, here are the services that are available to you. And then they're going to probably set you up with someone that's called a support coordinator. Mm-hmm. We don't do support coordinator. It's a whole nother agency, but that support coordinator will provide you with a list of providers. We'll be one of those providers on that list. There's, again, a bunch of other amazing ones out there. And then they ask you, do you want to choose one, or do you want to go interview some people? Mm-hmm. I highly, highly recommend interviewing. Please go out and interview people. Again, I think we're amazing. I think we're the right fit for a lot of people, but maybe we're not. And that's totally cool. You've got to find that fit for you and your family, with the culture, the people that you're talking to. This is a very intimate, personal relationship. And that's what I love. Again, we're 75 years old. We've got these services that kind of expand various elements of people's lives, both from a social perspective and from an employment perspective. It's kind of what I like about what we do, because we can help you out through the entire life cycle. When you exit high school, we can work with you in high school. You exit high school, we help you get a job. And then when you retire, you can come back in enrichment services. And you're always with that same provider, right? So there's that consistency of
the consistency
of culture, and as we were talking about, there's a bunch of other providers of other types of services that exist out here. There's community access individual. The enrichment services that I talked about are called community access group. There are providers that do community access individual. So rather than being in a group, it's kind of a one-on-one, like a big brother, big sister thing. We do some of that. We're probably not going to do that in Effingham, because there's some organizations that do it here, and they're amazing, and not what we're about. We're about trying to figure out what isn't being provided in the community.
And to try to provide.
That. Yeah. And then there's community living supports for people who maybe need assistance. Like, we've got some people whose both their parents work, mm-hmm. and maybe they come into the enrichment services. Well, mom and dad need to get to work in the morning. So they've got someone, a home health care worker, they'll come in the morning, they'll get Johnny up, help him get together, then they'll get him on our bus, and then he's with us all day. And then when we come back in the afternoon, that worker is there to receive them until mom and dad gets home.
Wow.
So we don't do that. Again, there's other organizations that are great at it. And again, we'll help connect people with those types of organizations.
So you've been serving Effingham County for years now, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and you're expanding your presence in Effingham County.
Yeah.
Why is now the right time?
It's been, I'll be honest with you, it's been the right time for Effingham County. It just hadn't been the right time for us. The pandemic, like everybody else, just absolutely decimated us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go terribly into it. It was a very traumatic, but we changed our business model completely. Like I said, we used to have the social enterprise businesses. We discontinued those. Those are a beast to run. We had 99 employees. It was just one shy of 100. We were employing 99 participants in those businesses. We had 80 staff members. It was a $5 million project just itself. I mean, it was a beast of a project. One, we had to kind of shut that down, mm-hmm. and that's not an easy thing to do. The other is, if we were doing that, we couldn't really kind of expand into the outlying communities. Well, now that we've done that, we've gotten this new business model that is very sustainable. We've had the opportunity, or let me just say, I've had the opportunity to kind of go out and be with groups in the community. And one of the watershed moments for me was doing Leadership Southeast Georgia. Shout out to El Sega and anybody go do it. It's an amazing organization, but it really opened my eyes to the needs in the community. I mean, I knew it was here. People had talked about it, but you don't know it until you get here. And then, of course, I met Pauline. Pauline. She wouldn't let me not come out here. I mean, when I just had to crack the door open to say, hey, I think we're thinking about expanding in these areas. I think the timing is right for us. We've got our day services program. We've got staffing down. Pandemic's behind us. And then she just wouldn't let my phone stop ringing.
Yeah, that's same here. I apologize. I wasn't aware of employability until one day she told me. She said, Tommy, we need to get employability up here.
Yeah.
We need to make this happen.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to get them up here. And she would not stay off of me about it. I said, sure. Let me meet Brendan and let's.
Well, and that's, I'll be honest, that is critically important to us.
Yeah.
We've got 2 people, so we're also expanding into Richmond Hill.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 spaces that we're going to first. Ultimately, our hope is that we will have day services programs in all the areas that we're now doing our high school and supported employment. So we are operating, and this has all happened over the last 12 months, in Chatham, Bryan, Effingham, Liberty, Bullock, Camden, and Long counties. The only thing we're missing is Glenn and McIntosh, and we're probably going to be adding those in the next couple of months. And we're doing that through our supported employment, and we're doing that with our high school training program. And ultimately what we would like to see is Richmond Hill and Springfield this year, look at Bullock, and maybe like Statesboro in the next year or 2, Hinesville, and then probably Brunswick, for that day services piece. But what we need is our Pauline Shaws in those communities. We've got Chris Elkins in Richmond Hill, and shout out to Chris. He's absolutely amazing. But being a nonprofit that relies heavily on government funding as well as donations and volunteers, our margins are really, really, really thin. And so what we're trying to do, and hopefully there'll be people out here listening to this that think, hey, I might want to be involved in that. We need people that will kind of become our community champions. And yes, it certainly could be coming and volunteering. If you've got a special skill, you can come and share that skill with our day services programs. If you're a business owner, hire our participants. If you're a business owner, you want to mentor someone, all the better.
Yeah.
All that's great. But it could also be something as simple as, hey, I need to connect you with somebody. What's happened since you and I have met? And certainly that Pauline is a huge champion of.
Yes.
Joe Marchese and other people in this community.
Carson Fortner.
Carson, all these people that are really, that's what we need because we don't know a lot of people in the community yet. And we need what we're calling kind of community roots. We really need to get entrenched in the community, and we need the community to tell us, how do you want this to look like? How is it going to operate? Because I'll be honest with you, and this is what we did when we talked to the folks in Richmond Hill. I said, here's how we do things in Savannah. I don't know if that's necessarily going to translate to Richmond Hill. Maybe it is. Maybe we do everything exactly the same, and that's what the community needs. But maybe you guys need something a little bit different. So let's talk about that. And so that's where we need people to kind of help connect us with as many folks as we can to make sure that both from the employment sector, as we expand the work that we do here, but also that enrichment service, what does it need to look like? Our hope is that with that enrichment services that we're out in the community every day, but we still need a location for the rainy day, or it's all about choice. And so typically every day we've got 3 or 4 different activities and the participants get to choose, what do I want to do? And maybe I don't want to go out in the community and volunteer. Maybe I want to stay in and,
play pickleball.
Play pickleball. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
And so we still need a space. And so that's kind of what we're looking for. So if anybody knows of a good space out here, let us know. But that's we just need to well, like any business, we need a network. We need some stakeholders and all that.
So what opportunities do you see here in Effingham County?
Oh, good Lord. A lot. A lot.
Too many?
It's incredibly fast growing community.
Yeah.
And let me take a step back from the growth. Here is something that kind of dovetailing into what we had just talked about, the opportunities that we're seeing are just coming to us because everybody's really embracing this. And everybody's so friendly and everybody's so community focused. I've had the opportunity to go to a couple of events at the high school, and you had mentioned Dr. Ford earlier, and it's just people like him.
Yeah.
My gosh.
He's another champion we didn't
Holy
mention.
moly.
He's another champion.
The work that they've done and the volume of people. I mean, I'm on the Low Country Down Syndrome Society's board of directors, and I know, you and other people have gone to the Night of Champions.
Yes.
And, he's got ridiculous. I don't think there is an employer that's hired more people than he has.
No.
It's that type of, and it's led by people like him, that really are just embracing the value of hiring people. And I don't know, the open arms that we've received in Effingham is crazy. So when you ask the question of what kind of opportunities do you see, so much. There's a ton of employment opportunities. I think back to the nonprofits, I think there's a lot of nonprofits out here that are working together.
Yes, there are.
That we can add another little spice to, that I think can just really help the community.
Another one we didn't mention was Faith Equestrian.
Yes, which we've done work with in the past. Yeah, they're, again, absolutely just trail. This region, I go to a lot of conferences, and I'm on a state trade organization called SPAD. And I got to tell you, this whole region, when my board asked me, why are we looking at the counties that we're in, the eight or nine counties that we have? And I said, there's just something special about the coast, about this area where the communities really want to support each other and things. And I've seen it. I've lived in Savannah since 1998, and I've seen it that whole time. I mean, it's just, I've seen the tourism product and the logistics areas, and all these little communities just really begin to blossom. And it's because we all support each other.
Yeah.
And that's a piece, I think, that everybody can kind of rally around our participants and what we do. And that's kind of a nice little thing that we can bring to the table. But there's just so many opportunities for people to like I said, to work with, and opportunities. Sorry, I can be a bit chatty, but one opportunity that I think, if you look at our enrichment services, what it provides the Effingham County community is workforce development. And people always look at me and are like, why is the employment side? I get that. That's workforce development because we're hiring those people. But a lot of those people that are in our day services programs that are not getting jobs have family members that stay home with them if they don't have a place to go.
Right.
And so what I like to kind of help people understand is that having a day service program in Effingham County is now going to provide the opportunity for possibly one of those parents or a sibling that has been staying home to care for Johnny or Susie, to go out into the workforce. Yeah. And so that's an opportunity I just love seeing that.
Oh yeah.
I don't love seeing that somebody has pulled themselves out of the workforce, but I love the fact that when we come in and we provide a safe space, an enriching space for somebody that they care for, the person they care for can be taken care of so they can go work. Oh, that's amazing.
You're not only creating opportunities for the individual, but you're creating opportunities for the family.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that now. I'm trying to figure out, how do I say that? Creating opportunities for the family. I like that. Thank you.
No problem. How can local businesses benefit from EmployAbility?
They can benefit by hiring our folks, or partnering with us in our day services program. Again, if you've got, and I know that doesn't fit everybody's situation, but if you've got a business, whether it's a movie theater or it's the local YMCA or, I don't know, but if you've got a product or service that you kind of want to educate the community on, our participants can come and take a tour. We can come and utilize those services. I would love to, again, build partnerships with the library and the YMCAs and those types of organizations where, maybe we can come in and partner with them on some things. But then, of course, it's hiring folks.
So what are some misconceptions that employers sometimes have before they hire one of your employees? participants?
Yeah, barriers to entry and productivity. Those are the two biggest. People's, and we don't have this or see this as often anymore, but you still do see it. The first is that people believe that any accommodations that are needed are going to be too significant. It's going to be disruptive to my day and my flow and the other employees because of whatever accommodations we need to make for someone. It's just not true. The accommodations are typically significantly less than anyone ever thought there would be. And then there's the productivity side, that people believe that they're just not going to be as productive. And that, again, isn't the case.
Right.
And the beauty of that, and this is the state system, this is not something that we invented. I think that we're really, really good at it, but everybody comes with a job coach. And so, when I was at the college, I couldn't guarantee that Johnny was going to be great. I could tell you he did great in class academically.
Yeah.
But I can't guarantee that he's going to be amazing and he's going to show up for work on time and all of that. And I certainly am not guaranteeing to have someone there to kind of step in and provide training or interventions or accommodation or whatever for the lifetime of the job, which is what we do.
Yeah.
We come with a job coach on day one, and we're there for the lifetime of the job. We're not showing up every single day. Once the person becomes job stable, then we're just checking in regularly, just to make sure things are going well. But it's a guarantee that this is going to work out. If at all possible, it's going to work out because we've got these supports.
What usually changes after they've hired their first participant?
They want to know when's the next one coming around. It typically is. I mean, people go from either being a little reticent or to being interested to being a champion. I don't know if we have any employers that are not in with both feet. It truly can alter the culture of an organization. Now, I will tell you, on the other side, one of the first things that we tell employers is, glad you're interested. Let's have this conversation. That's fantastic. However, you do need to understand you may need to terminate someone with a disability. Right. Are you okay with that? Can you do that? Because there is no guarantee, as I told you earlier, we don't want a pity job. This is a job. They are your employee. They're not our employee. Right. We're here as a support system, and it has to work for you and it has to work for them. And that isn't always the case. I would love to spread sunshine and rainbows around the world. That just isn't the case.
These are people when you hire anybody.
100%.
There's no guarantee.
Yeah, there's no guarantee. So you have to be okay with that, and we will help with that process as well. Yeah. The job coach can be there, and obviously coming up to it, we've kind of all gotten to the point of just like any other employee where we've had discussions and training and get to that point. But our job coaches are there and are really good about working with the person. But then if that happens, then we just go back to the drawing board with them. Then we try to find somebody else.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it doesn't happen very often because, again, we've been doing this for so long. We're not going to be bringing somebody to you that's not probably a really good fit.
Right.
And we're probably not bringing a participant to an employer that is vice versa.
Fit. Exactly.
We're matchmaking pretty well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Is there one success story that sticks out to you with EmployAbility?
There are tons. You can go out to our so for any of these amazing, wonderful success stories that I'm not going to mention, go out to our Facebook page.
Okay, fair enough.
There's all kinds of Instagram and everything else, but the one that I think articulates really, really well, which relays into what you had mentioned about our sweet treat that's coming to our event here in Springfield, is the relationship that we have with Leopold's Ice Cream. Stratton is our largest benefactor, our biggest champion, and our largest employer by percent. I mean, 10% of his workforce comes from us. Wow. He is absolutely, talk about in it with both feet. He's in it with both feet, his body and his entire business.
Wow.
There's a gentleman that works with him named Javon. And when we set Javon up with him, Javon was very, very shy. And we started him doing dishes. And this was before Stratton had his creamery and everything else. And they were doing all the dishes and they served food. all this stuff. And he was doing the dishes on site on Broughton Street. And over time, Stratton began to really see that Javon's got a great personality and an amazing smile. I mean, he's just a gregarious dude.
Yeah.
And so they started to have him work and clean up the dining space. And then I think over time, Javon didn't even really realize that he was engaging with customers. And over time, they created a brand new position. And again, I go back to, we don't want employers to create a carve out tasks typically for people. But in this particular case, it was something that didn't exist that Stratton realized they needed because of Javon. Anybody who's been to Leopold's know you have the line. Yeah. You know, it's down the street.
Exactly.
And a lot of locals will drive by or tourists will drive by and they're like, I heard I got to go to this place, but oh, man, that line's so long. What people don't realize is the line moves quick. But if the line is really long, that means there's a lot of people in the dining space and there's a lot of turnover there. And what Stratton was having to do was to pull a soda jerk from behind to clean up the dining space. Well, then he realized, well, I've got Javon clean this space up. And when he's doing that, I don't have to pull the soda jerk, which means the line goes fast. It doesn't slow down.
Yeah.
And then he also realized that, you know, people may be seeing that line. It's really hot outside and I'm just not going to want to wait in the heat. And what they came up with was this idea of an ambassador. And so the ambassador is going to clean up the dining space and engage with people and talk to them about the posters on the walls. And these are movies that Stratton produced. And these are ones that, you know, he was involved in other ways. But if we pull him outside on a hot day with a pitcher of water and a bunch of menus, you're kind of doing what Disney does.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
I'm getting you to forget that you're standing in line, or at least making that time in line spent a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so he goes out there, and now a variety of people do it, but that's kind of what the one thing that he does is he's pouring you water, he's talking to you about the flavors, he's handing you the menu,
yeah.
and talking all these things. And he's got a ridiculous smile. I mean, and he just owns that job. And now he's so proud of it. And so what I also love to talk about with him is he's now moved out on his own and is engaged.
Oh,
he's gonna be married
amazing.
in the next couple of weeks.
How about that?
The life that he's been able to create because of the help that he's had from his job coach and from Stratton and everyone at Leopold's. I mean, it's just such a great culture. So he's one of my favorite. Again, there are a million of them out there. Our longest serving employee has been at St. Joe's Candler for 47 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Almost half a century.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at that point, we're kind of looking at her thinking, when are you going to retire? Not pushing you at it, but but she's amazing. And, you know, and we have just so many amazing employers out there. Like I said, I talk about Leopold's, but we've got people employed at Gulfstream. We've got people employed at the school board here in Effingham, as well as Chatham County. We've got people employed at almost every major hotel that you have in Savannah.
Wow.
Inamed is another really great employer of ours.
So what changes do families often see after someone gains meaningful employment?
Confidence. Yeah. I mean, it's just that sense of purpose that we were talking about before, you know, whether you're volunteering during the day or you're going to a job, it's just that sense of purpose just institutes just a level of confidence. Again, I go back to someone like Javon. Would he have ever moved out on his own had he not had a job? I hope so, but I can't help but think that probably played a significant role on his perception of himself and what he's confident, what he knows that he can do. Just like all of us, you know.
He got meaningful employment and he got the opportunity to climb the ladder.
Mm-hmm. You're 100% right. It's evolved.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing that I'm really injecting. I'm glad you said that, because we talk about getting people jobs. Well, we're trying to change that. The vocabulary that we have. We're not trying to find people jobs anymore. We're trying to find you a career.
Exactly.
So you got somebody employed, and that's what we're really impressing the job coaches. Because again, the job coaches are checking in, you know, depending on what type of funding you have. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly. but they're checking in and making sure everything's going well. And the questions that they're asking employers now are, what's next? You know, so-and-so's been here for, 2 years. They're doing great.
Yeah.
What's the next opportunity? Now, for some people, just like all of us, are like, you know what, I'm happy here.
Most people are complacent.
And that's totally fine.
That's human nature.
Yeah. And if that's what people want, great. We'll
Yeah.
just continue to support you. But do you want to make more money?
Mhm.
Which, I'll be honest with you, is typically top of the list for a lot of folks. Like, I want to be making some more money.
Yeah.
And it may be, from our perspective, it may be, again, going to the employer with the participant and beginning to have that discussion. And if there are no opportunities, then it's for us to do what everybody does.
Yeah.
What are the other opportunities in the community?
So let's talk a little bit about this ice cream social. I'm excited
Yeah.
about this because ice cream is one of my favorite desserts. Tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, tell us what inspired this event, the ice cream social.
Well, the ice cream piece of it was inspired through a discussion that I had with Stratton. Aside from the relationship that he has with EmployAbility, I've been Stratton for 22, 23 years through various things and have just become friends. And we were going to having lunch, and I was just talking about the 75th year coming up. And, I said, we haven't figured out, this is a couple years ago, haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do, but I'm like, we need to mark this. This is a big deal. We need to mark this somehow with some type of thing. I don't know if it's, do we do a big gala? Well, everybody does a gala, so I don't know if that's quite what we want to do. And I always try to find things that are connected to us and what we do. Our folks don't go to galas typically. I mean, again, it's not a bad thing, but it just isn't something that's connected with them.
Right.
I always tell people my absolute favorite fundraiser for any nonprofit is Dining in the Dark. So shout out to the Savannah group that puts on Dining in the Dark. It's such a great opportunity for people to really get in touch with what the mission of the organization is and all that. So I always tell our board, I'm like, I'm trying to find that. But having this lunch with Stratton, and he said, well, we've done some special flavors before. Like when Savannah was courting JetBlue to come into Savannah, they did JetBlue Blueberry. And he said, we could do an ice cream flavor. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, would love to. And so he offered it up, and that was a couple years ago. So when we got together with our 75th anniversary committee, I said, hey, when we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, I said, a couple years ago, Stratton and I were having lunch, and he offered to do an ice cream flavor for us. And do you want me to reach back out and remind him that he already said he would? And they said, yeah. So I reached out to him, and he's like, oh yeah, that's great. He said, just tell me what you need, which is always how Stratton reacts. Yeah. I get one of two reactions from Stratton, and it's usually the latter. It's either just tell me what you need, or, and this is more likely, that's a great idea, but what if we did this and did like more? He's like king of crazy ideas. He just said, let me know what it is. So we got back together and we were talking about different flavors. And so, again, through my work at the college, I know a little bit about the world of restaurateuring and culinary and all of that. And I know from a restaurant's perspective, JetBlue Blueberry was a challenge for him because he didn't have blueberries as part of his normal product. You have to go source them, which isn't something that's impossible to overcome, but it takes a little bit. So what I told the group was, I said, if we can find something that doesn't require him to procure new ingredients, it'll be a lot easier for him. And we came up with the idea that Savannah Socialite, which is chocolate ice cream, caramel, and bourbon nuts, is a really popular flavor. And so we just decided, well, what if we just replace the chocolate with the vanilla? You can take something people already like. Yeah. So when we go to Stratton's ice cream makers into Stratton, it made much more, and they loved it. And it is, I got to tell you, absolutely amazing. It's an amazing flavor. So that's why it's ice cream. But the idea of having the event is, it's just, again, we've been doing work in Effingham, but to the average Joe, it's been kind of under the radar. We work with a lot of people and their kids in the high school through the pre-ETS program. But there's a lot of parents that don't even know that we're working with their kids, to be quite frank. Or they do, and they're like, oh, that's the group that does the training there.
Yeah.
And then we just do a couple of smattering of employment things. We haven't done a lot. So this is kind of our introduction to the neighborhood. Come on out. Let's have a good time.
Now, is it available for a limited time at Leopold's? Or
It
on the
is.
menu? Okay.
It is. But I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons we chose that flavor is we're like, maybe he'll bring it back. But it is. Right now, it's a limited time, and he is sharing part of the proceeds with us.
That was going to be my next question.
Yep, it is. It is a fundraiser for us.
So what's the response been from Effingham County in regards to the ice cream social?
Huge. First of all, the location, and you're gonna pronounce it for me because I don't know what is the name of this space.
Moncrief Square.
Moncrief. I knew I was going to get it wrong. Here. So the Moncrief people have been amazing. Thank you guys so much. We are super excited about being here in this space. They've just been incredibly helpful. And then there will be other nonprofits that will be there as well, and some other folks that are involved.
Effingham Talks will be on hand as well.
Yep. And I know there will be, I'm not going to say who those other people are because other folks are working with them, and I apologize. I didn't get the list of who has agreed to come and who hasn't agreed to come. But
I know Pauline Shaw's going to be.
Well, of course, Pauline will be there. But there'll be some other providers of ancillary services that we provide, and then there'll be some other groups like Her Navigators Group, and those folks will be there. And we'll have some games, we'll have some food.
I'm sure we'll have a Faith Equestrian representative too.
I'm pretty sure they're on that
sure
list.
we will.
This isn't we're not going to make some big speech or anything like that.
Right.
We're going to have some staff there that's walking around. We'll have some information about what we do. And they're really to answer any questions that folks have. We really just wanted it to just kind of be a fun middle of the summer, come enjoy some ice cream, get to know us, get to know the staff a little bit. We'll have some activities that are very similar to the types of things that we do in the day services program. So just a fun day.
Cool. Well, we talked earlier about Leopold's and their employment. What makes partnerships like that so valuable to employability?
I think, especially for someone like Stratton, who people know and they respect, and I would say the same thing when I get to say Gulfstream is one of our major employers. I think it breaks down the barrier for other folks. Very much like Night of Champions, where you've got these employers testifying, this is a great thing. It isn't what you thought it was going to be in terms of the challenges. It isn't. And even if you have some challenges with bringing somebody on board, the benefits that you have on the other side are so worth it. That's the value, I think, of having somebody. He just, again, those big names, we have far more smaller employers. So small employers don't think you have to be Gulfstream or Leopold's. We have a lot of 2-3 person offices that are hiring folks. Yeah. But I think when you see those big names, it just draws attention,
So what industries are you currently looking for here in Effingham County?
Any. I'll be honest. Any and all. It's not. I don't want to pigeonhole or exclude anybody because I go back to it's the fit, it's the skill set that the person has, and it's what the industry or the business does. We've got a guy right now that we're trying to find a job. He graduated from Georgia Southern with a degree in information technology, and so it's everything from someone working in your IT department to someone that works maybe in housekeeping or something like that. And then it's all over.
So if there's a business owner out there watching right now and they say, man, I'd love to learn more, what's the first step?
First step is give us a call. Go out to our website, EmployAbilityGA.org, or 912-644-7500. Give us a call and tell us you're interested, and we'll start trying to figure out what it is. The first thing that happens is we'll have a job coach come out and we'll just set up a meeting to talk about what is it that you do, what are you looking for somebody to do, and then begin to get a feel for your culture and that kind of stuff, again, to make sure that we've got a right fit.
Now, Brendan, we're going to go into our lightning round.
Okay.
It's kind of fun, okay?
Okay.
So, coffee or ice cream?
Coffee.
Favorite?
Sorry, Stratton.
Favorite flavor besides employability?
Vanilla.
One word that describes employability.
Empowering.
one thing people would be surprised to learn about your organization?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I can do a lightning on that one. That we're expanding into 9 counties.
Wow. That's perfect. That's perfect. I like it. What's your dream for EmployAbility 5 years from now? What would you like to see?
To have a day service program in all of those, right? So be in those 9 counties, working in the high school, working with employment, but to have a space for people for the enrichment services in Savannah, Springfield, Richmond Hill, Statesboro, Hinesville, and Brunswick.
So not everyone that's going to be watching this is a business owner, but what can they do to help and be a part of EmployAbility?
Share your skills with us. Are you great at arts and crafts? Come on in and share your arts and crafts. Are you a Pilates instructor? Come in and do some yoga or Pilates with our folks. Do you just want to share your time with somebody? Come, one of the harder things for us is to get out into the community, because if we've got people in wheelchairs, we don't always have enough staff. You can only push one wheelchair at a time.
Correct.
And so it's truly sometimes just pushing a wheelchair. Donate $5, $10. I mean, truly $5 when we do a movie day that gets somebody into the movies. All kinds of those types of things that people can do. And spread the word.
Yeah. Make
there
it
isn't
with
a-
awareness.
Yeah, there isn't a person that doesn't know someone that has a family member that is not able to integrate into the community the way that they could if they were with an organization like us or us. I mean, again, lots of things out there, but just let people know that these opportunities, these services exist. Now that you've watched this and you've stuck with us through this whole thing, at the next college, at your next cocktail party, at your next event, just spread the word, talk to people about it.
Well, Brendan, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to come out and help us understand what EmployAbility is about. We're super excited about this Ice Cream Social,
Yep.
July 25th, right here at Moncrief Square, 205 North Laurel Street in Springfield. And the time is 11
to 1 o'clock.
11 to 1 o'clock. So we'd love to see you all come out, say hello to Brendan, myself, some of the nonprofits, and see what you can do to welcome EmployAbility into our community. So that's our show for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Effingham Talks. We hope today's conversation inspired you and gave you a closer look at the people and organizations helping our community thrive. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with others, and stay connected for future conversations that spotlight the very best of Effingham. Until next time, keep supporting local, stay engaged, and keep making a positive difference.